Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist Nikole Hannah-Jones made headlines 2 years ago when the New York Times published the 1619 Project with her exploration of the legacies of slavery that continue today. Hannah-Jones was recently poised to make history as the first ever African-American to be named Knight Chair for Race and Investigative Journalism at her alma mater, UNC Chapel Hill. But there was initially pushback from conservatives, including a prominent donor who objected to Hannah-Jones's work. As a result, the university's board declined to award her tenure, something all of the past white chairs had been given. Under intense pressure then, the UNC Board of Trustees finally agreed to give Hannah-Jones tenure, but yesterday she turned down their offer and instead she will join the faculty of Howard University. Nikole Hannah-Jones joins us now. Thank you so much for being with us tonight.
Thank you.
So you released a 4-page statement explaining your decision to turn down UNC, in which you wrote, at some point, when you have proven yourself and fought your way into institutions that were not built for you, when you've proven that you can compete and excel at the highest level, you have to decide that you are done forcing yourself in. Did you ever at all have the expectation that your confirmation to tenure would be so controversial, or were you completely blindsided by the initial decision?
No, I had no idea. I had been recruited for this position for a couple of years by Dean Susan King, who heads the journalism school there. I'm an alum of the University of North Carolina School of Journalism. I've received numerous awards from the university, including being inducted into the North Carolina Media Hall of Fame. And I have, the same or matching, or, in some ways in excess of the credentials and awards of the other people who have held that position. So I went through the tenure process. The faculty who have the expertise to judge my worthiness for tenure unanimously approved my tenure. And it was the political appointees at the Board of Trustees that stopped it. So I had no idea. I certainly believed that I was as qualified as anyone else who had received tenure in that position before.
And explain to our viewers why tenure matters.
Well, tenure matters for exactly the reason that I didn't initially receive it, which is tenure is a protection that allows for full academic freedom. It means that professors cannot be punished and penalized for the work that they do. Oftentimes, academics are doing research and producing work that can be seen as controversial or that challenges the status quo, and this protects the ability to pursue work that may not be popular with people who are politically powerful. So the fact that I was initially denied tenure, largely because of the nature of my works, specifically around conservative objections to the 1619 Project, speaks to why I could not come to the university without it.
Twice, the UNC Board of Trustees declined to vote on offering you tenure and only did so last week, days before you were set to start. You wrote that times like these demand courage, and those who have held the most power in this situation have exhibited the least of it. What message do you feel that UNC's leadership has sent to black scholars, not only on their campus, but across the country?
Well, I think the Board of Trustees not voting was one thing, but to also have the chancellor and the provost of the university fail to speak out publicly, fail to say that the Board of Trustees should have treated me like every other professor who came in under the Knight Chair, I think that sent the message to other faculty on campus that they would not have the protection and the support of administration if it came down to a fight with political appointees. I think it showed that there was not a respect for what Black faculty go through on campus, and that they need to have the stated and public support and the courage of leadership when our work is challenged. So we know that faculty got that message. We know that the University of North Carolina lost some recruits over this, that other Black faculty are considering leaving the university. And I think one of the reasons that this case of mine became such a big deal is faculty all across the country, Black faculty that come from other marginalized groups, said that if they were able to do this to me, I work at the New York Times, I have a huge megaphone, I have a huge platform. what do they think they could get away with when it came to lesser known scholars who have been doing this work for a long time, but may not be able to draw the attention when they're treated unfairly.
And you talk about what black faculty goes through on campus. As you know, the story of prominent black scholars being denied tenure is not new. We certainly interviewed Professor Cornel West, who left Harvard after not getting tenure, as well as Dr. Paul Harris, who has since left UVA even after they granted him tenure. And if we were to talk about black female professors in particular at four-year colleges, according to the Chronicle for Higher Education, they account for only 2.1% of tenured professors. How do you explain the disparity?
Well, in some ways, it becomes a kind of self-replicating. So on any college campus, typically, the people who can vote for tenure are only full professors who already have tenure. So if we have universities that for decades were only really tenuring white men and then started to tenure white women, those are the people who are ultimately deciding the worthiness of the scholarship. And if black scholars are doing scholarship in areas of race or inequality or the black experience, that is often not valued the same as other types of scholarship. And so that gatekeeping is what is often keeping black scholars from getting tenure. So at the University of North Carolina, I would have not only been the first black Knight chair, I would have been the first full professor who was a black woman in the 70-year history of that school. There's only been one black woman tenured in the 70-year history of that school. So while my case is a big case in that it got a lot of attention, these issues are long-standing. And I tried to make clear in my letter, my open letter, that simply resolving my issue doesn't resolve the larger obstacles and discrimination that black faculty and particularly black women scholars face all across this country. And so I hope that other universities who might find it easy to point at the Board of Trustees in North Carolina and say, well, they're just backwards, will do some real internal introspection on the way that they are also blocking so many talented black faculty who have dedicated their life to academia from this very important protection and also prestige on the campus.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate you coming on. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.